Gospel music is an American and world treasure. Hello, I'm Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. I'm delighted to have this opportunity to share with you my love of gospel music, but more importantly, my views of how important gospel music is to the listening public and to all those who have valued its comfort and its nurturing ability. That is why I chose to introduce legislation to honor gospel music and to work with musicians and various artists and those who love gospel music around the nation. I'm delighted to have been able to work with many who expressed a great interest in the value of gospel music and was very pleased as we started this journey some 4 years ago to be able to draft legislation that ultimately was passed by the United States Congress that named September as Gospel Music Heritage Month in America. This legislation that was just introduced in the last session, H.J. Res. 64, is an example of how people come together, Republicans and Democrats, to support and acknowledge the importance of gospel music in our lives and in lives of people around the world. Just think for a moment of the comfort of gospel music when someone needs the comfort, whether they be a faraway soldier in a battlefield away from home, or whether it be someone who comes upon hard times, or whether or not it's just the opportunity to be joyous and thankful for one's blessings. Gospel music should be noted for its valuable and long-standing contributions to the culture of the United States. As you may know, gospel music is an American art form that has spanned hundreds of years and across several generations. It has touched millions of lives around the world while demonstrating its profound ability to transcend secular music. By surpassing culturally constructed boundaries, gospel music has emerged as the musical thread uniting the fabric of America. Many people from all walks of life, many who have different political values, have been uniquely interlinked by gospel music's undeniable influence and contribution to our American culture and our souls. For this reason, it is important that we recognize and celebrate the vital role that gospel music has played in shaping music history. Let me just tell you something personally. I enjoy gospel music. It touches my life, and as I listen to it, I think of others who are similarly touched by the stories and the music that comes about through the many types of gospel music. Maybe high-pitched, maybe low, maybe a choir, or maybe just a single soloist speaking to your soul. While gospel music has become a multi-billion-dollar industry, gospel music history is rooted in the humble and soulful melodies of American country music to African American spirituals. Its sound contains diverse elements from African music, melodic influences from Irish folk songs, and the early hymns of a new America, and ultimately borrowed from other uniquely American musical styles, including ragtime, jazz, and blues. However, I've seen gospel music appreciated all over the world, and people of different languages speaking and enjoying gospel music. Our gospel artists have the attention of the world when they travel and sing their beautiful words and music. Yes, the people of the world appreciate gospel music. The legacy of gospel music can be heard in the voices of pioneers in American history, such as Thomas Dorsey, Mahalia Jackson, James Vaughn, Roberta Martin, and many, many more. I'm reminded of the wonderful sessions of thousands of people that Billy Graham had. Reverend Dr. Billy Graham had wonderful gospel hymns that were sung by many, and throngs came to stadiums to hear not only his words, but the wonderful gospel music that was being sung. The influence of gospel music can be found infused in all forms of secular music, including rock and roll, soul, R&B, and countless other styles. Gospel music laid down the musical foundation for legendary recording artists who still have sung or did sing gospel music. In fact, I'm reminded of the fact that the Grammy that was won by Elvis Presley was that for gospel songs. So Elvis Presley, Marvin Gaye, Aretha Franklin, Buddy Holly, Whitney Houston, Ray Charles, Dolly Parton, Mariah Carey, Bob Dylan, and Randy Travis all have ventured into the wonderful sounds of gospel music and comforted so many with their sounds, their commitment, and their soul. While there are many elements, situations, and issues that divide our nation, gospel music has found a unique way to highlight our similarities and influence the cultural make of our society. I'm reminded of that as I walked on the floor of the House seeking support and signatures to co-sponsor the Gospel Music Resolution to name September Gospel Music Heritage Month. The pleasing responses that I received emphasize the importance of gospel music in the lives of many. Instead of emphasizing our differences, gospel music has found a way to cater to the fundamental elements that unite people around the world, focusing on their souls. With that, it is important that we do not take this art form for granted, as I know we do not. We must make sure that the heritage of gospel music is recognized, honored, celebrated, and remembered. Over the years, songs like Amazing Grace, which was written by John Newton, have touched our lives. I remember during the most tragic time in our history, one of those tragic times, when we lost a fallen hero. The song of Amazing Grace was sung at the funeral of Dr. Martin Luther King. It brought comfort to many. The song was written by John Newton, a young boy who left school at the age of 11 and began a life of a pirate seaman. He eventually engaged in slavery, capturing people from West Africa and selling them to slave markets around the world. But by the grace of God, fear was put into his heart when he was caught in a violent and fierce storm upon the sea. Newton was so afraid of a shipwreck that he began to read The Imitation of Christ by Thomas Kempis, calling himself a wretch who was lost and blind. John Newton recognized that God had used this book to lead him to a dramatic change in his way of life, and this episode led him to write one of the most amazing songs throughout history. I introduced a bill, H.J. Res. 64, along with over 60 Republican and Democratic members of Congress, that designate the month of September as Gospel Music Heritage Month, honoring gospel music for its valuable, long-standing contributions. But it really is a tribute to the likes of the young man who wrote Amazing Grace. Many people write songs who have touched them in their times of trouble, that therefore has helped others. Pastor Marvin Sapp wrote the song, I Never Would Have Made It, that touched so many lives. And then in the new style of gospel music, a recent song, I Give Myself to Thee. These are many songs, these are many sounds, but they all point to the comfort of gospel music. I'm excited that we have the opportunity to be able to spread gospel music in a way that is educational, that the way speaks to young children, that has an interest in gospel sounds as a music style. This is an important way to communicate across all lines and all regions of this nation. And so we have enjoyed, our committee has enjoyed, the opportunity to meet and work with all people in celebrating gospel music as a national treasure and one that is appreciated around the world. Thank you.